which are the town manager's reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to report that at the recommendation of the police chief and the deputy chief, I've appointed Cassandra Polito to the position of communications specialist with the Tyngsborough Police Department. Cassandra comes to us from the Boxborough Police Department, where she has prior experience as an emergency dispatcher and is also a Tyngsborough resident. The final interview included current dispatch staff, and everyone agreed that she had the temperament, the experience, and the personality to complete that critical job, so we're thrilled to have her join our team. I also wanted to give a shout out to our executive assistant, Jackie, who is working on revamping the town's annual report. The focus of the revamp is to present the information in a clear, concise, and efficient manner with an emphasis on highlighting the information that residents will find most important. For many years, we've just used the exact same annual report template, and I think it's become a little bit dated, so Jackie has been doing a lot of work to find ways to make numbers stand out, percentages stand out, things that residents will find interesting. So there's an example of a couple pages in your packet, and I'll include that in the public posting of this report tomorrow. But just wanted to give her a shout out. She came up with that concept on her own and has really run with the project. So very excited to see that come through. A big thank you to Tyngsborough resident Patrick Latham, who's been helping residents get their yard waste to the new yard waste site. As a reminder, the site is open until December 9th. If weather permits over the winter, we will periodically reopen the site. But it will formally reopen for the season on April 2nd. We've had success so far. We haven't had any dumping that's not supposed to go on over there. The highway department has kept the site very clean and organized, and residents have really taken advantage of it. So it's working out very well, and I think, we've learned a couple lessons from this early start of the program, which we'll work over the winter to implement for the spring. The DPW Implementation Working Group held its first meeting last week to begin talking about the transition into a DPW. As I noted at a previous meeting, the House of Representatives has already approved the act, and it's now in the State Senate for review and approval. It has not moved since my last update, but they were on holiday vacation, and they're now only in informal sessions. But I expect that it will follow the same approval timeline as the Town Manager Act, which was signed into law in early January. On a less thrilling note, the bids for the Bicentennial Field irrigation project were received on November 22nd and came in dramatically over budget in terms of both the funding available and the construction estimates that our design consultant put together. I did have a lengthy conversation with one of the bidders, and my understanding from him is that there are components of this project that aren't necessary. They're like the nice-to-haves or kind of overkill, if you will. So we have a meeting with the design consultant later this week to bring that project back to what their original budget was. The board may remember the original cost estimate was $217,000, and we were approved through capital for $250,000. So I think our lowest bid was $732,000, which far exceeds any of the construction escalation that we've seen. So we're gonna work through that. We have a design, we have an order of conditions, we just need to get it somewhere that is a little more feasible. Last week, I awarded a contract to Key Code Media out of New Hampshire for the Town Hall Security Project. We issued a request for quotes in late October and received only one response. The quote from Key Code was within our budget, and the town has done work with them in the past to our satisfaction. The project will see the installation of 9 security cameras here at Town Hall, which currently has none. These cameras will largely cover the parking lot as well as the exterior entrances, and we did slate one of those cameras to be a wireless camera that aims at the new yard waste drop-off site, so we can keep track of who's going in there. We expect work on that project to commence in early January. I've also awarded a contract to Clifton Larson Allen for the town's financial audit services. They're a national firm with lots of municipal clients, including some nearby like Greater Lowell, Chelmsford, Middleton, and more. Their pricing was very comparable to what we anticipated for our FY23 budget, or FY23 audit. And we've expressed to them the need to have this done by March 1st to make sure that we get that submitted in time for free cash. So they're excited to be a part of the team. The signing director is a Tyngsborough resident, so there's a little bit of a local connection there as well. Our media department is working with the Planning and Economic Development Office to put together a short informational video outlining the MBTA Communities Act and our efforts to date. And just as a reminder on that topic, the Planning Department held its first information session on November 8th, and will hold a second session on Monday, December 4th, here in the community room at 7 p.m. The Recreation Department kicked off the Festival of Trees this past weekend. There are over 130 trees for viewing and several dozen raffles. Those raffles also go for the trees as well. Most importantly, Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus will be on the town common Saturday at 5:30 p.m. You can visit tyngsboroughma.gov to find the full schedule of remaining events, which continue into Saturday evening. This next item is a response to previous public comment on the matter. I convened a meeting last week of our public safety officials to discuss the potential public safety impacts of the proposed gaming facility at the former Sears location at the Pheasant Lane Mall. To date, the proposed operator has been very cooperative with our police department and has incorporated all of the chief's recommended revisions into their current security plan. As a part of the permit that they got from Nashua, they are required to get sign-off from both the Nashua police chief and the Tyngsborough police chief. Some of the things that they were worried about include adding additional security patrols and exterior cameras, which they were quick to respond that they would do that. What we're currently looking at is how we would address any potential increase in call volume for our police and or fire departments. Because the parking lot is largely where crime is committed in casinos, obviously the insides are fortified security havens. It's the outside that we worry about. One of the things that we've proposed in a letter, which is included in your correspondence this evening for your reference, is that they agree to a meeting 1 month after they open their operation so that we can sit down and look at our call data, look at Nashua's call data, and that in the interim, they agree that if week 1 we've noticed an increase in calls, they would hire a police detail, whether that be from Nashua or Tyngsborough. They operate other facilities in Nashua, and Nashua has said that they didn't have any issues at those sites, but obviously given the unique location of this right off the highway, with Lowell residents having to come completely through Tyngsborough, we will see an increase in volume. So this is just one way that we can protect the town's interests. Like I said, they've been very amenable to our requests, so I'm optimistic. The other piece I just wanted to address was questions about whether or not the town was entitled to any type of impact fee or payment from the proposed developer because the parking lot is in Tyngsborough. And I know that there was a mailer sent to some residents in Tyngsborough that referenced this host community agreement. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a casino is required, similar to how a cannabis facility is, to enter into a host community agreement, which addresses a lot of things, some of that being the impact fee, but also security. In this case, the only thing located in Tyngsborough is a parking lot. Our zoning bylaws don't allow the planning board or the select board to dictate what type of uses the parking lot supports. And I've confirmed with town council that obviously any statutes that apply to a Massachusetts gaming facility would not then subsequently apply to a facility licensed by the New Hampshire Gaming Commission. So we've looked into that. There's no impact fee that we're entitled to. We were involved in the planning process. My understanding is that Mr. Eldridge, the fire chief, the police chief, the town planner, and my predecessor met with officials from Nashua and the proposed developer before the permit was granted in September and had these types of conversations. So it's a work in progress. I wanted to just relay for folks that have been reaching out with concerns that the police chief is involved. They've been amenable to his requests, and we're looking to just get in writing that they're willing to review the status of our call volume after a month so that we can revisit the security plan if necessary. And that was something that the board had asked me to look into, so before I go to the next one, I can see if there's questions from the board on that.
Mr. Chair, first of all, I'd like to thank Jim Barrett. I guess he received one of the flyers, in the U.S. mail, and it had a lot of misinformation in it, and so he wanted to make us aware that he had received this. As Colin said, as it relates to security and everything else, we were doing our due diligence, just as we did with Hudson when they're putting in the big facility there. We're doing our due diligence, and I know they're working hard on it. As Colin also said, one of the things that said in the flyer is that the select board wasn't doing our job because they wanted to host community agreement with the New Hampshire Gaming Commission, but we live in Massachusetts. We have no authority to do anything as it relates to this commission, just as Nashua, New Hampshire has no authority for nature's remedy. That's Massachusetts. So I just wanted to just make clear, we have done our due diligence on this, as we always do. If any residents have any questions about something like this, they can feel free to give anybody a call here instead of sending a flyer, an anonymous flyer, I guess, out to a whole bunch of people and just creating a whole bunch of misinformation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair?
Yes.
Colin, just one comment. You know, we're gonna meet with them a month after the casino opens. I would recommend that we do that like every 6 months after that, so we continue to meet with them, because, you know, maybe after the first month, it's not gonna be indicative of what it's gonna be like, you know, 6 months or a year down the road. So I think we should continue to meet with them on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. The last item that I have is just a reminder that Town Hall and the Tyngsborough Public Library will open at 11 o'clock this Wednesday to allow our staff to attend an all-staff training/team building exercise. We've posted this here at Town Hall. It's been up for about a month. It's been on our website, and it's also been on social media as well, so just a reminder to folks.
Fantastic.
All right. The FY25 capital requests are due November 30th, as a reminder. This year, we're doing things a little differently. Administration will review the requests initially from departments and then present a recommended capital budget to the Capital Asset Management Committee for further review and approval. The town is working to submit our annual Green Communities Report by the December 1st deadline in order to remain eligible for future DOER grants. The town, in partnership with NIMCOG, did receive a grant from the state to provide technical assistance for the Green Communities annual reporting requirements, and this will be for 2 years. And then lastly, the town manager awarded the police station HVAC installation project to A. Fagundes, a local company, which was the only contractor to submit a quote on the project. So a good news, the town expects the entire project to be covered by a state 911 grant, as well as a mass save rebate. So
Fantastic.
that's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much for the town manager and assistant town manager reports.